off to plus or minus anyone else. Where the play starts. What we didn't talk about is well in between plays. We've got 25 seconds between the snaps. So the referees will put the ball in play and blow the whistle, and then they will start counting up to 25. And it's a reasonableness. It's somewhere between 25 and 30. The younger age groups will accept those things, right? Towards the end of the season, it'll be enforced a lot more strictly than at the beginning, but it's basically just to keep a generic flow of the play going so that people aren't wasting the clock. We play 2 20-minute halves. Each half, referee will keep track of the time. Coaches, you are responsible for keeping track of the score. The referees do not keep the score. So have one of your parents, have one of your assistant coaches, have a little whiteboard beside you to write down what's going on. Ultimately, the league doesn't care about the score in a lot of our divisions. We're just trying to have a recreational balance. After week 3, though, we're going to sort up into relatively competitive playoff tiers. So in your clubs, you're trying to identify who are your strongest teams and who are your weakest teams. That we can sort the cards, put kids into a bracket of 8 or 16 or 4 teams that will have a really competitive last 2 weeks, regardless of how good they are. They'll play against equal skill levels, and we'll play for a championship in that relative skill level. Seeing it happen last year, it was absolutely amazing. One of my teams was 0-6 going into the final 2 weeks and was absolutely depressed because they were getting blown out by teams. All of a sudden, they were playing against teams that were the same skill level, and the score was within 1 point either way or the other. They were having a great time, right? So unfortunately, with 200 teams across the league, it's hard to say today, I should play your team first and then your team second. Who knows, right? I haven't even seen 3/4 of the kids in my club yet. I know them as a name on a roster. So the first 3 weeks are really, you will play against 6 random teams that we think on paper, based upon your Bel Air 1 versus Gloucester South 1, sounds like it'll be fair on paper. Who knows, maybe Gloucester South 3 is the strong team. We don't know until week 2, week 3, but that's where the coaches, where the presidents, each of us will say, you know what, my team's strong, weak, medium, and we'll sort for those final weeks. A couple of other little rules that are odd especially compared to touch or tackle. Once you have possession of the ball, so whether you were handed the ball off, whether it was snapped to you, whether you caught a pass, you can no longer jump. That's a penalty, right? You can jump up to catch the ball, but as soon as you land, you need to keep your feet on the ground. You can have 1 foot off the ground. There's a little bit of debate on the side movement. You might get called, you might not. But there's no jumping after you have the ball. So kids who have flags on their hips facing at a 45-degree angle down, we teach them to move their hips, to dodge sideways, to duck under grabs. They can't jump, right? One of the big rules that happens in flag football is called flag guarding. Once you have the ball, you can't protect your flags. People have open access to them. The only way you can protect them is by moving your hips and dodging. If I bring the ball down and block somebody trying to grab my ball, that's a flag guarding penalty, which is a loss of down 5-yard penalty.
Is there a penalty on the penalty?
There is. I believe it's lost down 5 yards again. Maybe a spot foul. I'd have to verify. Either way, it sucks.
For
right?
What was the foul?
For jumping. So I catch the ball, I'm running, I deke around, I beat 3 kids, then I jump past one. Well, okay, penalty right there. The first time I saw it happen, I was crying, but it's called on every base, so it's fair, right?
Are flags on belts or?
So yeah, so the flags, I should have actually brought some, Rod might have them. They're flags that go around and cinch tight. Uniform rules are actually really important to talk about. So no jewelry at all. If you have kids who wear earrings or piercings, they need to be taped if they can't be removed. Shirts need to be tucked in. Absolutely no pockets on shorts or pants or whatever. Even if you duct tape them closed, this year The referees have been instructed the kids cannot play if they have duct tape on their pockets. So make sure all your kids have no pockets on anything, because you get a finger caught in it trying to grab a flag, and you get broken fingers, you get injuries. So the flags come tight around the belt and should point down at 45-degree angles out to the side. We use what's called a popper technology across all age groups. So when you pull them, you'll hear a pop. The referees pre-game will make all the kids line up and will make them pop their flag just to prove that no one's glued them into sections. It's kind of funny. The kids like it.
I got a question.
Every single kid needs to have a mouth guard, no exceptions. So it's important. It's for safety. You would think in a non-contact league we'd get away without them, but there's a lot of incidental contact that just happens by accident. Two kids run into each other, you can bite your tongue, you can really hurt yourself. So it's important they have mouth guards. Yeah, quick question here.
Going back to the jumping, are they allowed to spin?
Yes, 100%. In fact, my competitive teams, we take them to salsa class and teach them how to dance. What? 100%. So no hard rim hats, even if they're turned backwards. So a bucket hat, a toque, a beanie, a burqa, it's all acceptable, just no hard rims, right? We have an odd situation this year. There's a couple of kids who have hearing aids or devices that help them be normal. We're allowing them to play with those devices because it's the only way they can hear. It's for absolute safety, and it's just to provide a good experience for them. But all players and coaches will know when those players are involved in the plays that we can take extra caution.
Dan asked me about that, so I didn't know. But Dan, what is the hearing? Like a hearing aid here?
Yeah, it's like
As opposed-
it's an over-ear type thing.
Not like the old. I mean, if somebody had
A
some
brick.
sort of device down here with wires, then we'd have to really ponder how that could be.
Yeah.
That would be a problem.
Yes, 100%. Is there a question back here? Glasses are not recommended by any means. Contacts, if you can get the wraparounds that are like full tight in with no like protruding edges, they might be acceptable.
In general, I've seen them allowed, but as they get more metallic, it wouldn't be out of character for a ref to say that's too dangerous. So that's where.
Quite often the kids are allowed sunglasses, but again, like see how there's a sharper edge on Rod's glasses? If they're more tighter fitting, it's a little better.
Yeah.
For the participants that have hearing devices or anything that they would require, do we have extra pennies usually provided to us in our bags? I know we're different leagues, but
What would the pennies be for?
just to possibly identify them as zero contact. So if they allow it to be known, because that's another sensitive matter, then they become kind of not safer but identifiable.
I think we need to
For
take that on a
for hearing aid, like what's the?
The big ones that you're
Oh, I
talking
see.
about, or
Okay.
anything that could be a
Yeah,
hazard.
I think we'll have to do it on a case-by-case basis.
Okay.
Just going back to the glasses, because I'm concerned with some of the U14, U12, U10 kids who can't see.
I'm
My
saying that.
experience, they've had glasses that we say are shatterproof. Like I know in the school system, we say shatterproof, and they must have a sport band to tie.
I'm saying that refs are going to allow it. I haven't seen many refs stop prescription glasses.
Yeah, because they don't get
Yeah.
contacts at that age. Like,
No, I realize that. So I'm just saying, I could see for some looking extra fragile, or where a ref's saying that's a.
That's
it
a
would be
risk,
little-
yeah.
I wouldn't say they're out of the wrong to say that. In general, I haven't seen it very rarely. But if it was just fragile or something like that, I could see them saying, we're gonna have to come up with that. But I haven't seen it from my reffing coaching of high school, and there were refs have all left the prescription glasses trying to get them out. One other thing, just on the ref scoring, just to mention.
Yeah, please.
Refs do not keep score, but they should announce scoring plays so people can keep score properly.
Touche.
Okay? Touchdown, blue, 1 point everything's fine until the converts, people. We are horrible. Is that
Is that
13 or 12 or is it 14?
Rod-
Was that a 1 or
Rod
a 2?
and I
Who got a
played-
convert?
Rod and I played against each other in a U20 elite girls match. And at halftime, we looked at each other like, "What's the score?" It took
So-
us 5 minutes to figure it out.
So that's the real thing. I'm really going to try and have my teams have whiteboards just to sort of show. We won't be showing if the score's out of reach. But keeping score is a challenge, and I strongly recommend having a parent score. And they may, just because I say the refs should announce a scoring play doesn't mean they are. They should be asking the ref, what was that? And so
Let's follow along this line of referees though a little bit. So quite a few of the referees in the league are do this as a job, right? As a full-time retirement job or as a weekend gig, and they have training and they do this a lot, but not all of them, right? There are quite a few referees who are teenagers, who are former players, current players. They are children, ultimately. We need to respect the referees regardless of who they are and realize that this is a recreational sport. It is on us as coaches to not lose our heads, to remember that this is long-term athlete development, recreational league, fun, and first, right? Referees are going to make mistakes. They will not know. They will not know exactly what happened. We just need to let it go. You can find the appropriate moment to talk to them at halftime or after the game, if it's even necessary. Point is here, we're trying to build a community. So make sure that you don't take out any frustration you may have on what's happening with the referee. Pretty clear? To enable the coaches, especially at the younger age, we allowed coaches to come out on the field. One coach per team in the under 10 age group, in the under 12 age group, and for the girls at under 12 and under 14. Anyone above that, all coaches should be on the sidelines at all times unless you call the timeout. So U14, or open, U16, anything above U16, no. The goal here is to get the kids to be self-sufficient, right, and not need to have a coach on the field. As the coach on the field, though, if you're coaching under 10, under 12, or one of these age groups, you are allowed to come in the huddle with your playbook and say, "Okay, kids, Johnny, you're going to go right. Tina, you go to the left. You do this, you do that." Kids have the play. You back up 5 yards out of the play. You can no longer, you should disengage as a coach at that point, right? Do not, when the ball snaps, "Hey, pass it to Tina, she's open." No, because you're on the field, you can cheer them on, but you need to, there's a fine line between continuing to be the sixth player on the field versus supporting it. If you want to coach further, run over to the sideline while the play is going, and then, "Okay, pass it to Tina, right? And then you can come back out on the field and give them their next play. But the goal here is you're helping them establish. The kids are young, they don't necessarily have experience playing team sport. Football and plays can be complicated, right? Because, you gotta run left, you gotta run right, you're doing a circle, you're not moving at all. They may not remember all that, they may not be able to grasp it. So you're there to help them, but then back up, let them do their thing.
So you're saying if they go to the sideline, they can then
Do whatever they want,
coach themselves.
right? So for the older age groups, those of us who coach those, you are on the sideline the whole time unless there's a timeout. You can yell whatever you want on the field. You can talk to them, you can give them plays respectful, right? Because you're representatives of your club, of the league, of your family, of everything. So make sure you're at your best behavior at all times. But if the coach is on the field, once the play has been put in motion, your job is to then let the kids run the play and just be a cheerleader.
Running the league, it's been great. We can talk a while about the bad incidents, but I can tell you that by and large we've had fantastic behavior from everybody. Does that mean I hear about every coach getting to a point? No, I'm not trying to say it's a Shangri-La, but I have been so impressed by many coaches saying, you know, it's out of bounds. Well, it's a U10 game. We're having one ref. You have to factor in the ref that's going to focus on the middle of the field. I don't mean who cares about the sidelines, but you need to say the ref can see what he sees. All I can ask is that ref maybe moved a little bit, maybe something to say, but inbounds or out of bounds by that much. No, today I'm not going to be bugging that ref. In fact, I'm going to use it as a moment. That ref's doing it. Ref doesn't have any agenda. That's the call. That's the way it is today. You know, we have two refs. Maybe that's a little bit different. There should be a ref there, you know, being able to see that. But to me, you always have to put yourself in that viewpoint. It's actually something that really annoys me in every NFL, CFL game when they're all crapping on the refs, and you've got 14 cameras to look at the holding penalty on the O-lineman, and there's this one head ref responsible for holding with 320 pounders all going there, and you're supposed to be able to see from every angle where you get to watch on TV and say, what a horrible call. Well, you have to put yourself in the position of that referee and what they can see, you know, and the same here, even more so. I just want to continue to say, though, how great, by and large, the interactions have been. So many times the coach, the players go and shake the hand of the ref after and thank them. And the refs really enjoy that. And it's been really, really good. And that's what I just want you to strive for. And if you do have something to say, try and be collegial where you're all trying to learn the game better, because I guarantee you, most refs know more than you about the rules. Doesn't mean they're perfect. Try and find that opportune moment to have a good conversation and try and show that you could care less about the call than about the process or the understanding of the rules.
We got about 5 minutes left in the rules section, so I'm just going to go through a couple of blitzkrieg little rules that. So no fumbles in flag football. No fumbles in flag football. So the ball gets dropped, it hits the ground, it's done. Right? Play ends right there, no picking it up. When the ball is snapped, the quarterback, whoever they are, has 7 seconds to throw the ball. 7 seconds, so the referees will start counting. However, if they fake a handoff, if they do hand the ball off, or if anything like that, the 7-second clock goes away. But it also allows people to rush from it. A fake handoff stops that 7-second clock.
Here's a crazy one.
The rushers still rush. It's 7 seconds is what?
Yeah.
Just to throw.
Just to throw, right? And so if they don't fake a handoff, let's say they're just a single quarterback, they get the snap, they're looking
Why
for
this comes about, sometimes teams will not rush anybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they don't rush and the quarterback could stand there forever.
And their brain is broken and saying, wait a second, where's the rusher? Time is ticking, 7 seconds, okay? That's it, dead play. Right? It's not a penalty, it's just loss of down.
Referee blows the whistle.
Referee will blow the whistle.
And often you'll see at this point the ref throwing a basketball, sort of.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
here's a crazy one. A legal forward pass, a legal forward pass crosses the line of scrimmage. A forward pass doesn't cross the line of scrimmage. You're only allowed one forward pass per play. From behind the line of scrimmage. You make a forward pass. Quarterback's 5 yards back, throw it 1 yard forward. The receiver is now 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That is considered a running play. It's a forward pass, no more forward passes allowed, but it is a running play, which means it wouldn't be allowed as a scoring play in the no-run zone. In the no-run zone, you must make a legal forward pass to score. This is different from Football Canada last year. Football Canada, a forward pass is a legal forward pass. There's one other problem. I hesitate to tell you, I know these little intricacies. You are allowed collateral at any time when you're behind the line of scrimmage. Forward pass a forward pass, not a legal forward pass. That person can lateral until they cross the line of scrimmage. All right, so that's a mention. It is mentioned in the overview, but it is a little problem. In other words, you could run your hook and ladder, the old catch and lateral to somebody if it's behind the line of scrimmage. All right, so that's just a little thing that's going to come because someone's going to have a nice play for a touchdown to end the game, and you're going, it's a forward pass. They're not allowed to lateral at that point.
The last thing we'll talk about rules is the flags. Now, of course, this will be the hardest part for every coach before the game starts. Right? It's getting the kids on with a flag that's properly set up because it's supposed to be tight. So first off, my shirt isn't tucked in, so referees will give me problems for that. It should click, and the flags at the beginning of every play should be pointed down and away from your hips. See how they're sticking out and pointing down? If they're flipped over and they're pointed up, they're illegally set. If they're pointed in, illegally set. If they're testing, they should pop. There should be no, this here needs to be tucked in or wrapped around, right? So on a play, every player is live as long as they have their flags in. However, you cannot remove the flags of a player unless they're in the process of receiving or having the ball. So it is a penalty if I'm waiting for the ball downfield, I haven't got it yet, it's somewhere over there, the defender just rips my flag out, that's a penalty, right? It has to be within a reasonable amount of time that the ball is coming in that play. You should coach your kids to prioritize taking the flag out and then going to the interception thereafter, because if they don't get the flag, then they can catch the ball and go for a touchdown. If you're running down the field and your flag falls out and you didn't notice, it just fell out, and you catch the ball is now dead right here. You're allowed to catch the ball, but you can't gain any further yards. Same thing with the quarterback, if they're receiving the snap and their flag's lying on the ground before it started. So make sure each of your kids checks that their flags are on their hips and well secured, squeeze them in before the play starts, and then go start, right? As part of their huddle, you have 4 kids who are getting a play call. Get your flags set. That's kind of just the mechanical process you gotta go through.
Can you say that you can pull the flag before they have possession of the ball? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's a penalty.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's got to be really close. If the ball is coming in and pulled now,
There wouldn't
it
necessarily
wouldn't be called,
Yeah.
right? But if the ball hasn't even been thrown or is 10 yards away and they pull the flag, big difference.
There'd be a warning too at some point saying, like, listen, you gotta be a little more careful here.
Right, I was just,
Yeah.
there's a nuance.
I'd hope there'd be a warning.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say there'd be a warning. Oh.
Yeah, they shouldn't be taking anyone's flag who isn't imminently in reception of the ball.
Under the adoption of the new rules, pre-snap motion,
Yeah.
rules have changed.
So we discussed this as the organizing group, and we're deviating from the international IFAF rules where only one person can be in motion, and we're using Canadian football rules. So anyone can be in motion in any format pre-snap. It just makes for a more entertaining and more diverse mix of strategies in place.
We might go to let's call IFAF American style motion. We might go there, but it just seems something right now that we got enough rules to get used to right now to not introduce American motion at this time. All right, well, we'll move on to.
That is.